this video, I'll show you how to build an AI agent that finds leads for you through Slack. But since there's a lot to cover, I'm breaking this into a series of videos you'll actually be able to follow along with and do it yourself. Here's what we're making. You just send a message to your Slack bot and it goes out there and finds leads for you, gets their info, and even writes personalized emails. The best part, instead of paying for expensive automation tools that charge you every month, we're building this with free tools and a simple setup that costs you less than a coffee. But to get there, we need to build it step by step. This is part 1 of 4 videos. Each video builds on the last one. Therefore, by the end, you'll have a complete system running. But today, we're already building a capable agent. The next video just give it more tools to work with. In this tutorial, you learn how to set up your Slack workspace, how to create your first AI bots, and how to make the bot actually smart enough to help you. The cool thing is, by the end of this video, you'll already have a working AI assistant you can actually chat with and ask questions, all in your Slack. Then we'll make it do the actual lead generation stuff in the next videos. I'll be sharing all the templates and tools we build in this series, but you'll want to watch the videos to understand how to properly set them up and customize them for your needs. Trust me, just copying and pasting won't get you the results you need. Let's get started with the foundation of your automated lead generation system.
Head over to slack.com and hit that create the workspace button at the top. Pick a name for your workspace. I'm calling mine AI Sidekicks since that's where all my AI assistants will live. Then just follow the quick setup instructions and we'll be ready to start building our automated workflows. Alright, let's move on to the fun part. Now let's create our Slack app. Head over to api.slack.com and hit on create new app. We can start from scratch. Let's call it JarvisBiz. Next, you choose the workspace we just created, or if you want to add it to any of your workspaces. Mine is AI Sidekicks, and hit create app. Next, I'm just gonna generate a short description using Claude for my AI. This is not necessary. And same thing for the long description. Alright, next we're gonna need to add some auth scopes for our Slack agent. So head over to auth and permissions. We're gonna need to add some auth scopes. We need channel history, chat right, customize, group history, group read, group write invite, group write topic, and IAM history, and read npm history, npm read, npm write, user group read and write, user write, and we will also need the search read. That's it. Next, we need to head to events subscriptions. And here we're gonna need to add the webhook URL that's gonna receive the messages from Slack. So we're gonna be using n8n for that. And we're gonna be subscribing to the message event. So it's gonna be message. That's IN. That's all we need. And we're gonna need the request URL. So for this, you need to head out to n8n and create a new workflow. If you don't have an n8n instance, you can watch this tutorial to see how you can deploy it easily on CloudStation. and if you already have one available, you can just use whatever instance of N8N you have. So we're gonna need a Slack trigger, so we can use the on any event for now, and we need to create the new credentials for our app. So we can save the we go back to that later. Let's install the app for now. Right. Now we need to copy the bot user token, and we have the bot installed in Slack, as you can see here, and go back to N8N and copy the token, save, and that's it. So we can name this all right. Now so we're gonna watch the whole workspace, and let's get the webhook URL. So for now we're gonna use the test URL. Go back to your Slack app, event and subscription, and copy the URL. We need to copy the test URL and listen to the events. So now that the events, the N8N is listening, we can retry, and it works. Save changes for now, and let's go back to N8N and let's copy the production URL. And we need to activate the workflow. So I'm gonna call this one Jarvis Biz. Alright, it's active, and I can go to Slack and put the webhook URL. Alright, that's done. Now we can go and test it. Alright, now we need to activate the possibility to send messages to our Slack bot. So let's go back to Slack API and app home. And then you can hit always show my bots as online to have it always online. And to activate the possibility to send it a message, we need to allow users to send slash commands. Then we need to reinstall the app. So reinstall 2AI sidekicks. And if we refresh this page, right, now we have the possibility to send it a message. And let's start by writing something. Let me alright, and we get our message like we were supposed to. Now that we know that we are getting the webhook event successfully, let's try and respond to this message using N8N. So I'm gonna copy the last execution to my editor, and I'm just gonna send a response using Slack. So I'm just gonna send a message to the same user that sent the first message. So we're gonna do channel, and we're gonna do it by ID. It's gonna be an expression, and we have the channel ID in here in the first response, and then we can send a simple text message. Let's say on it. Let me check. Let me see what I can do. Test it. And let's check if we got something here. And yes, so we have received our response from n8n. Okay, so this could be the start of our workflow, in which each time we send our AI agent a message, it gets back to us to say that it's thinking about it, or working on it, or it's gonna send it to another agent to work on it. So the thing is, this new message should have also executed our n8n workflow, and this could create, of course, an infinite loop. So let's fix this issue first. So let's go back to executions, and here we see that we got the trigger was also triggered when the Slack message, when n8n itself sent us a message. So we're gonna do a check to see if this is a bot. If it's a bot, then we're gonna ignore it. If it's not, then we're gonna use it. So I'm gonna copy this to the editor as well, and we're gonna do a simple if check in here. So look for if, and we're gonna check if we have a bot ID here. So we're gonna check if the bot ID exists, then we're gonna consider this bot, and then we're gonna ignore it and do nothing. Else we're gonna move on and continue our workflow. So let's do the exist check. So this should return true because we have a bot ID. And if this is true, then we're gonna do nothing. Alright, if it's not true, then we're gonna send a message. So this is gonna be our first message. We're gonna always send it if we have a request from a user and not a bot. Let's save it. And now if we go back to Slack, let's copy the same message from earlier, and this should respond, but it should not respond the second time. As you can see here, it didn't respond. And if you see the executions, we're gonna see the first time we got a Slack message, and the second time it did nothing. Alright, so we are successfully checking if the user is a bot or not. Next step, we're gonna add the AI agent stuff that's gonna allow us to call tools and do some cool stuff later. So the node is called AI agent. Alright, it comes with this chat node that we don't need, so we can delete it, because we're gonna rely on Slack to actually send our messages instead of the one that's coming from here. And we need a conversational agent. So the difference between a tool agent and a conversational agent, because we need to go back and forth with the agent and ask it question and so on and so forth. So let's do that. And we're not going to take it from the previous node, because the previous node is the send initial message node. So we're going to map it ourselves. It's going to be an expression, and it's going to be the first Slack message. So it's in the Slack trigger, we need the text. Alright. And it needs a brain. So the brain is going to be the AI model. And in this case, I'm going to use OpenAI. And if you haven't created an OpenAI account yet, you can head out to OpenAI. So it's platform.openai.com, and you can log in and you can get your API keys. Once you get your OpenAI key, you just need to add it in here, and that's it. All right. The next thing that we're gonna need, because it's a conversational agent, is a memory, and we can use either a Windows memory, which is the easiest, or the Redis. I'm gonna start with the window buffer memory, and I'm gonna move on to the Redis one later. Alright, I'm just gonna keep it as is, and let's try a tool for now. So let's do Wikipedia, for example, just to test our workflow. And save, and let's test it again. Let's ask it what is AI. Alright, so for now we didn't set any responses, so we're just gonna go back to NA10 and check our executions. Seems there is a problem. Yes, there is a problem with the memory buffer because we didn't pass it any session ID, and let's do that. So the same as I did for this here, I'm just gonna copy it and put it in here, expression, and let's test it. Alright, and this time it did work, and we have the response here from Wikipedia. So I'm gonna copy it to the editor, and now I'm just gonna send it back as a message on Slack. And I'm gonna send it like I did before, so let's just copy this. So we don't have the JSON channel ID from here, but we can get it from Slack trigger that item that so we can access any of the previous nodes using their name, and then you just add a dot until you find what you're looking for. And here for the message, we're gonna send the output. Alright, should have received the message, and yes, here's the message from the Wikipedia node, and let's save it, and let's now test it here. That is automation. And we have our response in here like we were expecting. All right, so there's one thing that I don't like about this is we end up with the two responses. So I'm gonna delete this message once we have the response from our AI agent. So to do so, let's go back to NA10, and in here we're gonna add another node for Slack, and we're gonna look for deletes, and using the same credentials we're gonna delete message by channel, and same channel as before, so it's let's take the Slack trigger, and it's this one, and we need the message timestamp, which we also have, and it's on the first Slack node. So it's this, the message timestamp. Alright, and that's it. I'm just gonna rename this one to init message, and this one is gonna be delete. And our last one is gonna be final response. Alright, let's save. So there's an issue with the if block. Right now, when we delete the message, this Slack webhook doesn't send a bot ID, so it triggers this whole workflow again. And the other issue is this final message, when it gets sent without the bot ID as well, which triggers the whole workflow again as well. So for this one, there's an easy fix. We're gonna make sure this is treated as a bot. So all we need to do is include the custom bot profile photo, and we're gonna be adding a URL. So let's go back to API.slack, and let's add a picture to this AI app. Okay, you can add any picture, doesn't matter. Alright, and now I'm gonna open it in a new tab just to get the URL. Alright, I don't need this anymore. I can close this as well. And I'm gonna add the URL in here. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the init message one. Alright, and save. And instead of relying on the Slack trigger, on the bot ID, I'm actually gonna use the user, which is not gonna exist in case of bots. So all I have to do is change this to JSON.user, and I'm expecting it to not exist in case of bots. Alright, let's activate it, and let's go back and test again. Alright, and now I have only the message, the output, the final output at the end, and the intermediate message gets deleted. And that's how you create a AI Slack app using NA10 and Slack.
So yeah, your Slack bot can already answer questions using Wikipedia. It's like having an AI research assistant all in your Slack. But I want to show you how to actually make it useful for getting leads. In the next video, we make it search the web to get you your ideal leads. Same simple setup, still keeping it cheap, just adding more tools to make it work for you. I'll see you in the next video.